Pursuing the Long Count, Episode 9. Sak-Chen and Chalk worked until evening, experimenting with different forms of sugar. So one form is to grind up the maize and then ferment it in water. And another way is to crush the sugar cane between two logs and let the sugar water drip into a bowl. But nothing combined with shotel paste to make those special chunks that had drawn Chalk from his fish body into the human world. He's wondering, how did Cumix do it? And now you can see he's really angry with the angry lines. It should be easier than this. Sak-Chen says, "Don't worry, Etsam, we'll figure it out. You look tired. Did you get any sleep last night?" "Sleep? No time for that. I must discover this recipe before Hunaha returns to the dawn sky." Hunaha? Oh, he won't be back until we change the lunar calendar. And here it is. Here's the picture of the lunar calendar. It's not this big, but it's this box with little divisions in it. And there's 8 empty boxes, so that means there's 8 days left. "And how long is that?" he asks. And Sak-Chen thinks to himself, he must still be testing me. So he says, during this season, he usually spends at least 10 days in the underworld, right? And this makes sense because 2 days before is when Hunaha appeared in the sky and they made the switcheroo. So they have 8 days left. So Chalk realizes that and says, good. So I have plenty of time. "And you think sleeping will make me feel better?" "Yes, Itsam." And he thinks to himself, he really must be tired. So he says, "Just lay down on this mat and close your eyes." And Chalk tries to grumble something and he says, "Shh, shh, shh, no talking." So he sleeps. And in the morning, Chalk says to himself, "Sun God is shining again. I feel much better. I wonder how long a human can stay awake." He yawns and scratches. And he makes his way through the village. So here's his little path. I love, when I was a kid, I loved watching these. This is the thing that I would focus on as a kid, following these little paths like Richard Scarry's stories. So he passes a little villager and says, "Hello, villager." And another one says, "Morning, Cumix." And he walks through, investigating everything. One of them says, "Greetings, shaman. How was your morning?" And Chalk says, "Pretty good, pretty good." And here's a little, here's all their gardens and their huts. You can see the whole village from above. And down here's the river. There's some reeds growing in the river. And Chalk says, looking down from the bank, he says, "What's going on down here?" Because there's a canoe with people messing around in it. "Greetings, my good friends. What's that you're loading in your boat?" And one of them says, "Who's that?" And the other guy says, That's the shaman. "Hello, Cumix." "Cumix? What's the matter with his face?" So this guy obviously knows who Cumix is and says that there's something wrong with this guy. What? He holds up this little fruit and says, "These is fine sopadillas. Them folks up river gonna pay premium price." Chalk is holding them and says, "What are they good for?" "I'm gonna trade them for guano." Chalk says, "What's guano?" This guy says, "Guano this guy says, guano's bat poop. It makes the best fertilizer." And Chalk asks, "Does guano come from Temple City?" He's thinking he needs a way to get up there. And the boatman says, No. My little boat can't make it above the waterfalls. You want to go to Temple City, you got to walk around the falls." See, here's a tiny little map. Look, there's the river, and there's the forest, and there's the falls, and there's the falls right there. So this is all he knows. All he knows is river goes to the falls, and he just stops. "You want to go to Temple City, you got to walk around the falls, then catch the ferry. Maybe take you another day to get to Temple City." Chalk says, "Stay right there. Don't leave without me." And he runs over to Sak-Chen. "Sak-Chen, stop what you're doing. We have a way to get to Temple City." but I'm setting out the cacao nibs. It'll take them days to dry. Chalk says, "Don't. That's okay. The boatman says it will only take a few days to get there." But Itzam, do we have enough time to get there and back? Chalk says, "I bet we do. Let's make a little calendar here. Scoop up some of those nibs." And Sakchen says, I didn't know we could just draw a calendar in the dust like that. I thought we had to use the sacred wooden grid. Chalk says, "We'll just use it this once. It'll be okay. Just put a nib in each of these squares. Yesterday, Hanaha returned to the underworld. Today, we take a boat to Temple City. How many days does it take to get there?" Sakchen says, 3, maybe 4. If the river is low, but maybe 4 if the river is low, but the dry season just started, so probably 3. So, boom, boom, boom. And you say, Hanaha usually stays in the underworld for at least one winal? Yes, it's 20 days. So here we go, all the way to the end. So it will take 3 days to travel upriver, 2 days to consult the priests about the definite date of Hanaha's return to the dawn sky, boom, boom, and 3 days to return to the village, boom, boom, boom. Maybe 2, because paddling downstream is always quicker. So back up to here. If everything works out perfect. Could you tell the elders, this is Sakchen talking to some villagers up there, as they climb into the canoe. Could you tell the elders we're going to Temple City? Sure, Sakchen. Do you think you can handle this fellow? See, they already know there's something really strange going on with Sakchen, with this shaman. Sakchen says, "I think so. We'll be back before the moon halves." And Chalk's like, "Yay, let's get going." "So long, Sakchen. Good luck," they all call to him. And then to each other they say, "Let's hope Kumix is back to his normal self when they return. I think the kid would be a better shaman anyway." And there goes the canoe upriver. The river was wide and shallow, down near the swamp, but the experienced boatman deftly navigated sandbars, rapids, and falls. It took the efforts of each member of the crew to row the flat-bottomed canoe upriver. It was a long first day. Chalk asks, "You're sure Hanaha will not return for at least 10 days? "Well, sometimes he stays away for 2 and all, but it is not my duty to track his movements carefully." "Why not?" "Because only priests can do that." And now we get a little section of exposition because we need that to know what's going on in this world. So this is what's being delivered by the boatman. And he's a very talkative boatman. And Sakchen's saying he hasn't stopped talking all day. But Chalk is quite interested because he needs this download. So here's what the boatman says. "My route ends at the waterfalls. They ain't just one waterfall, though. There's a bunch of falls, one after t'other. But, like I said, I never go above the falls. I just take the fruit and leather and sopadillas and oyster shells upstream, and they load me up with guano and whatnot, and I go back down. But I don't just take the oyster shells. Sometimes folks pack me full of salt from the flats down coast. I could give you some salt if you promise to say prayers for me. That's how I trade with the priests. They usually ask for cacao, too. There's 2 packs of salt down there at your feet. If you are really going to Temple City, you could transport... 2 packs of salt, yeah. You could transport the cacao for me. Priests like oyster shells, too. I don't know why. Maybe for potions. People from the mountains send down obsidian arrow points. I like them. They remind me of Ekchwa. Ekchwa is the black star, the merchant's favorite god. So I keep some in my pouch. They come in handy if I run into a stingy customer. If they don't want to trade, for nothing, I bring out my obsidian and let them glitter in the sun. Nobody can resist God's glass." So, now we know a lot more about this world, And we have a couple more pages to go. I will let that sit for a week, and I hope you come back to hear the next reading of Rain God Returns.